You're just living your life, not chasing anyone, not even looking for attention. Then he shows up. He's charming, he listens, and he pays attention in ways that make you feel seen. But here's the catch: he's already committed, married, in a relationship, maybe with kids. Yet something about his energy draws you in, or maybe something in you responds to him. You didn't ask for this situation, but here you are. So what does it really mean when a man who's already taken wants you? Let's dig deeper, not with judgment, but with the kind of truth Carl Jung would want us to face. According to Jung, when a married man reaches for another woman, it's rarely about lust. It's not even really about you. It's about something unresolved inside him, a longing to meet parts of himself he's lost or never found. Jung called this the pursuit of the feminine energy within a man's unconscious. He's not just wanting a woman, he's wanting the feeling he believes you'll awaken in him. That sense of vitality, mystery, and possibility. Maybe it's a spark he once had or never experienced. So he projects this deep need onto you, not because of who you actually are, but because of what you represent to his starving psyche. It's like he's holding an empty glass to his soul and thinking your presence will fill it. But here's what you need to understand. You were never meant to carry that weight. Many women in this situation blame themselves. They ask, did I invite this? Was I too open? Is there something wrong with me for even responding? Let me be clear, your energy isn't the problem, but it is magnetic, and if it awakens something in him, that says more about his emptiness than your presence. Because here's the thing about a truly whole man, who's aligned with his values and who honors his commitments. He'll feel attraction. Yes, that's human, but he'll contain it. He'll respect it. He'll choose not to act on it. The fact that he reached for you doesn't make you special, and it doesn't mean you're not special either. It means he's split inside himself. Jung warned us about this split, about the man who lives on the surface but is ruled by what he refuses to examine. The guy who smiles in daylight but is led by shadows when no one's watching. If you've ever been caught in this emotional triangle, you know how confusing it gets. You tell yourself, he must really feel something deep, or he wouldn't risk everything. He must be unhappy at home. He must see something in me that nobody else does. But that's the story your heart tells itself to soften the chaos, because the truth is harder to swallow. A man can crave connection without being ready for it. He can pursue depth while still living shallow. He can long for your light, but still live in a house full of closed doors. Jung understood this. The unconscious seeks balance. So when a man feels lost, numb, and disconnected from life, his psyche will search for the opposite to restore him. But if he hasn't done his inner work, he won't see you clearly. He'll see a version of you that matches his need, not your reality. So what does he actually want? Validation, mystery, the feeling of being alive again. He wants the illusion of a fresh start without facing the truth about his current situation. He wants your softness, but not your needs. Your light, but not your boundaries. The way you see him, but not the mirror you'd eventually become. Because make no mistake, the deeper your connection gets, the more he'd have to confront who he really is and what he's left unresolved. And unless he's done that work, he won't stay. He can't. Not without breaking something, you or him. You weren't born to be anyone's emotional rehab center. When he comes to you with lines like, I've never felt this before, or you're different, or she doesn't understand me like you do. These aren't always lies. But they're not complete truths either. They're projections, whispers from a broken self that's longing to escape responsibility and feel good again. But what happens when that high wears off? When you start wanting more, when you ask, where is this going? What am I to you? That's when the distance begins. That's when his story starts falling apart. Because for him, this was never about building something. It was about escaping something. Now let's be honest about the other half of this story. He can want all he likes. But it's you who allows it. You who open up. You who let it linger, even if just in your mind at first. And that's not weakness. That's a signpost that something inside you has been hungry. Jung talked about the shadow in all of us, the parts we bury, the needs we ignore, and the desires we label as wrong. So they go underground and show up in unexpected ways. If you found yourself pulled into something that doesn't align with your values, it's not because you're broken. It's because something in your shadow was speaking. Let's name it honestly. Maybe you've spent your whole life being the good woman, the one who waits, who gives, who puts everyone first and herself last. Then this man sees you, desires you, and suddenly you feel visible, chosen, and needed. But being seen by someone unavailable isn't real visibility. It's emotional bait, and when you're starving, even crumbs can taste like a full meal. So ask yourself, what did I hope to feel through this connection? Not what you hoped he would do, but what you hoped to feel safe, wanted, finally enough. Because that's the root, that's the thread that leads back to the original wound. Jung believed we're drawn to people not just because of attraction, but because they reflect a part of us we haven't made peace with yet. So when you're pulled towards someone unavailable, you have to ask, what am I still unavailable to within myself? Is it your truth, your anger, your right to be fully chosen, not hidden, not negotiated, but claimed? Sometimes being the other woman isn't about seduction at all. It's about self-abandonment disguised as connection. You let yourself become part of a half-truth because you've forgotten how to stand in your whole truth. Let's be brutally honest here. It's not just him who's conflicted, you might be too. Because there's a part of you that knows this isn't safe, won't last, and will end in heartbreak or guilt or both. And yet, you stayed. Why? Because pain feels familiar. Because you've confused chaos with chemistry. Because deep down, you were afraid that no one truly free would choose you. So you accepted someone who wasn't free. Carl Jung said, people will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own souls. Sometimes, we use other people as distractions from our own inner emptiness. But here's the good news. Awareness changes everything. The moment you name the pattern, you loosen its grip. The moment you see why you stayed, you can finally choose to walk away. If you're in this situation, or healing from one, here's what you can do. First, write the truth, not the story you wish were true, but what actually happened. No filters, no fantasy. Then read it out loud. Hear the parts you've been avoiding. It'll hurt, but it'll also set you free. Second, name the need behind the attraction. What were you really craving? Protection, validation, or passion? Now ask how you can begin giving that to yourself without using someone else's confusion as your source. Third, close the energetic loop. Even if you're no longer in contact, the bond might still be open in your mind. Write a letter you'll never send. Say everything, and then burn it. You're not breaking a bond, you're reclaiming your power. Finally, choose someone who chooses you. Not in theory, not someday, not when it's convenient. Someone who sees you, wants you, and claims you in the light. If that sounds rare, it's because you haven't believed you deserve it yet. But you do. You always have. You were not born to be an option. You're not here to be hidden. Your love isn't meant to live in stolen moments or whispered promises. Jung reminds us that when two whole personalities meet, both are transformed. But transformation only happens when both people are present, complete, and willing. Half love will never create full healing. So if you've been living in this space of emotional in-between, this isn't the end of your story, it's the beginning of a new one. One where your worth isn't defined by someone else's inability to commit. Where your beauty isn't measured by who desires you, but by how you honor yourself. You're not too much. You're not too intense. You're not a mistake. You're simply awakening. And with that awakening comes a choice. Keep repeating what wounds you, or start choosing what restores you. Choose not from fear, not from longing, but from truth. And let that truth lead you back to yourself, the woman who deserves to be chosen completely, loved openly, and valued without conditions. That's what it really means when a married man wants you. It's a mirror showing you both his emptiness and your own untapped power.